Spy Psychology, The Engineer by Jonto. This looks really good. I love this. Love the duality here. Okay. Cool stuff. I like that intro.
This episode was inevitable. The Engineer is arguably Spy's most interesting matchup. However, it is very important to get a major misconception out of the way immediately.
So, I actually was really looking forward to this. So, his series, I dropped like a good $50 on some cosmetics for Spy. I'm really itching to play some Spy. Whoops, that's not the one. That's the meme that I posted. However, I ended up finding a meme prior to this, which actually made me look really forward to this episode. How it feels watching those spy psychology videos as an NG main to know how to deal with spies. Dude, I'm so ready for this video, it's not even funny.
Spy does not counter Engineer.
Okay.
Engineer has a lot of options when it comes to fighting back against spies. Spy is less of a counter to Engineer, but more so his foil.
Sure.
Both are the most complex classes in the game by a rather large margin.
Right.
But whereas Engineer is about setting up defensive holds and providing powerful support to his team, the Spy is all about infiltrating the enemy team and disrupting them from within. As they are both forces of the opposite things, when on opposing teams, it's very natural that they'll come into conflict with each other.
Right.
Now, considering how complex of a class Engineer is, it's best that you understand how he works before fighting him. More specifically, the machines he's able to conjure, and your main tool against them. The Engineer.
So, actually, I found an interesting interaction on the Steam Market. I guess it's not really interesting so much as, like, it's a collector-specific thing. So, the app you can still get it on, like, the Manco store. It's, like, $10. But if you want to get, like, the genuine quote-unquote copy, which I'm still a little fuzzy on, I just had Stranges versus Unusuals explained to me today. Like, I guess they also added new Unusuals fairly recently, which is honestly super cool to see. Genuine is effectively just the green text, and it's something to do with legacy. But it was, like, a differential of, like, 3 times the price point. On the Manco store, it's, like, $9.99 USD for the app, which I did get, don't you worry, I got some spicy spy stuff. However, I can't get the spy crab, and that is going to forever haunt me. We have all these other cool things, like the stupid cat, but we don't have the spy crab, because when that goes up for sale, that code goes up for sale, that goes up for a lot of money. And it makes me really sad. I would love a spy crab, but that is like, actually, like, peak TF2. Once we finish with Jonto, I will probably be reacting to expensive TF2 items, by the way, so just look forward to that. Sorry, we are completely segueing this, but I'm like super happy to like talk about the things and like explain the things. And like, it's just so fascinating that the genuine apps app is like $30 compared to like $10. It was super fascinating for me.
It has a total of 4 buildings: the sentry gun, the dispenser, the teleporter entrance, and the teleporter exit, all of which can be upgraded to level 3, increasing their efficiency in some way, though the levels of the teleporters are linked, as both upgrade at the same time. And if one is destroyed, the other resets back to level 1.
Sure.
Okay, but like, what do the buildings actually do?
Sentries shoot bad
I actually don't know what the dispenser does, if I'm being honest.
guy with aimbot. Dispenser
Like, it gives ammo, but that's about it.
give health and ammo to good guys, and teleporter disrupts quantum physics to make good guy go from entrance to exit.
Fair.
That's your TLDR. But being the funny Frenchman known as the Spy, you have the unique ability to disguise as enemy players, and the buildings will always fall for your disguise. No acting necessary. Sentries won't shoot, dispensers will heal you, and teleporters for some reason don't actually care if you're disguised or not. They'll still take you anyway, but
Right.
I would not recommend taking it without a disguise.
I'm killing you.
Curiously enough though, the cloak only fools the sentry, which is nice because it's the one that kills you. But what's nicer is that it means that enemy dispensers and teleporters will still work even if you're cloaked.
They possess vision beyond our own.
When it comes to actually destroying buildings as Spy, this is where your electro sapper comes into play.
Right.
In fact, this is its only purpose. You can right-click on buildings to place the sapper. This will instantly disable it and start eating away at its health.
Hey, what about
Right.
the red tape recorder?
I was about to say, what about the red tape recorder? Actually, I had a really fascinating comment about this on one of the other videos. I don't remember which one it was. Thank you for this, actually. But I actually posted this in TF2 chat because it was really fascinating. As it turns out, I do go through and read comments when I physically can. The interaction is actually very fascinating. So, James Werner, thank you for an amazing comment on this and clarification. The red tape recorder has one main advantage compared to the stock sapper. In 3.5 seconds, the red tape de-levels a building by one level from 3 to 2 and then 2 to 1, respectively. In 6 seconds, a stock will destroy it, assuming both sappers are removed. The red tape can weaken a nest faster than a stock with nothing getting done. As one whack after removing repairs or damage. The red tape requires NG to gather and rebuild, limiting their decisions and influencing their movements. So I would argue that's very spy-like behavior to engage with. Yes, absolutely. Like, yeah, I think we covered this in Soundsmith videos where it does have advantage in a few ways in regards to that nest, taking down a nest by de-leveling everything. And so it was really cool to actually see that actually put like pen to paper and actually like see like the 3.5 versus 6 seconds. It's very interesting. Like, there's definitely a lot of counterplay. I'm a horrible engineer. Let's put it that way. There's a lot to keep track of, and I don't have the skill floor for that yet. Fair.
When the sapper is placed, the engineer will immediately be alerted to this predicament and will audibly yell,
Spar sapper by sentry!
The sapper can be destroyed by 2 hits with all wrenches, except the jag, which takes 3.
Fair.
Unlike when using the knife or revolver, placing a sapper does not drop your disguise. But if you stab someone within the line of sight of the sentry, it will turn to shoot you.
Right, because then you're aggroed. You're
This is
enemy
where
at that point.
things get messy. There are many different techniques when it comes to actually attempting to take down a nest, and they're all useful in different situations. The most basic but iconic of techniques. When the engineer is behind his sentry, backstab him, immediately switch to your sapper, and place it on the sentry before it shoots you.
Right.
The sentry takes a quick second to lock onto its target, and even longer if it has to turn around to face you. This is why the stab and sap works. It is recommended to turn on fast weapon switch when using this technique, as you can instantly.
I mean, honestly, just turn on fast weapon swap to begin with. It's really cool to like pull up the menu and then have to like fine tune it. But like, oh, it threw me off for the first little bit.
They switch weapons by pressing the number keys.
Yeah, it's way better.
This is the reverse. You sap the building, then attempt to stab the engineer when he comes to repair it, either by hiding and sneaking up on him, or using it to set up a trick stab. Sap the sentry to disable it, then immediately open fire upon the engineer, who will either retaliate or attempt to remove the sapper in the chaos. Your goal is to kill the engineer before he succeeds at either.
Right.
When doing this, it's smart to plan for if the sapper gets removed mid-fight.
Can you sap? So I know you can sap the sentry. Can you sap other devices? I think I missed that part of the sapper.
Since the sentry has a split-second delay before it can function again, you can either stick near the sentry to reapply your unlimited supply of sappers on it,
Okay.
or be ready to run to cover.
Sure. The bait sap.
Sapping a building will almost always cause the engineer to come for it. You can use this to bait the engineer into an unfavorable position, away from the sentry to kill them or waste time.
Wild.
Sap the building of choice and then immediately open fire upon it to destroy it as fast as possible.
So this would be actually very aggressive because you're committing multiple. If we talk about like action economy, we've talked about action economy like D&D Pathfinder before, right? Like action economy, how much you can do in a single turn with what you have and maximizing what you can do in a turn, right? Since you're applying so much focus to that building, this is a very aggressive play, but an incredibly valid one that I didn't. I was just like, yeah, leave sapper, let it go, right? Oh, I guess, yeah, you can shoot it. Not that it's not intuitive, but like my brain just really didn't register that, much like the flare gun and how that interaction with reloading works that the chat and comments had to clarify for me.
Sap sentries have a hidden 33% resistance to the revolver, but this isn't enough to not make this technique viable.
Right.
This technique is best done suddenly when the engineer isn't ready for it, especially when they aren't close to that building in particular.
Right.
You want to give them as little time to react as possible.
Reminder that the damage a sentry gun takes is unaffected by damage fall-off, allowing you to do cheeky things like this.
So how does that interact with the ambassador? Because the ambassador has crit fall off, right? Like that's specific to the ambassador. So does the sentry at that point override that? I'm assuming the sentry would override it at that point, so the ambassador would be doing full damage on hit.
If the engineer is standing within sight of a sentry, but not right next to it, you can quickly stab the engineer and run to cover before it shoots you.
Sure.
Run in and spam sappers on everything.
Yeah.
The hope is that
seems a
while
little
the
broken.
engineer is occupied trying to remove the sappers and the sentry isn't working, your teammates will capitalize on it and destroy the nest. This works best when you plan it out with your teammates, especially if it's
Right.
during an Uber. The sentry can't be repaired whatsoever until the sapper is removed, so this is massively powerful when coordinated.
I forgot to look for the funny bread one today. The bread sapper is pretty tech.
Sap the entrance and stand on it while disguised. The hope is that the engineer will remove it while standing on the exit, causing you to teleport into his hitbox, instantly killing him,
What?
which is known as a telefrag.
Is that a bug?
Warning, this you will only fool newer players.
Fair.
If for some reason the engineer leaves his buildings completely unattended or is dead, you can just sap the whole thing and leave.
Yeah. Yeah, you've done your
GG.
job.
This list is by no means all strategies you can use against engineers, but it's some of the most essential ones.
It's a feature. Got it. Okay. Interesting.
When you first discover an engineer nest, it's often best to take note of where all the buildings are placed and try to judge the experience level of the engineer in question.
When you go into QP and you have like what, 2 or 3 engineers in 2 fort basement in sewers. Oh my god, so many engineers. That I had watched some Soundsmith videos before actually, and oh, okay, I've heard about these engineer nests they like to make, and then I saw it and I went and everything just made sense. Like it was a big aha moment. I'm like, oh, this is the power of the engineer.
This can allow you to figure out how you're going to take out the nest and when. Some engineers will be more aware and harder to deal with than others,
Right.
and may require varied or creative strategies. Because engineers usually stay within the back lines, once they're done setting up, their team can take some of the pressure off of them,
Right.
which gives them free time to check for spies if nothing else is happening. But one of the biggest advantages you have as the spy is that you are almost always the one who starts the fight. Therefore, you have more control over when it happens. You can take your time to get your bearings, and you can wait for an opportunity to strike.
Right.
When you first discover an engineer nest, here's a few things you should take note of. How much is the engineer running around? Are the buildings fully upgraded yet? If not, it could cause a distraction. Is the engineer standing behind a sentry a lot, or is he moving around? Where is the teleporter exit, and can it be exploited? Are the buildings clumped together or spread out? Spread out buildings typically indicate a more experienced engineer. Are there multiple engineers?
Right.
How many of their teammates are around? These are factors to be aware of that can either make it easier or harder to take out a nest. Account for these things and look for an opportunity, of which the engineer's own buildings can actually provide you with some.
I wonder how this interacts with battle engineers. I forget which. I almost said exotic. I'm not playing Destiny. The funny. Is it a shotgun or is it a wrench? The one where it limits you to level 1, but it plays into the archetype of the battle engineer. I forget the name offhand. I wonder. Interesting. I'm having to think how you combat that. I'm sure he's going to go over it. Gunslinger, thank you.
Since disguise is full dispensers, you can actually get health and ammo off of it for yourself.
Wild.
And even better, it's able to refill your cloak meter.
Okay.
This is what I like to call dispenser leeching.
Yeah.
If you disguise, cloak, and stand on top of an enemy dispenser, you can remain cloaked indefinitely,
Cloak and dagger users be like.
while getting healed. At level 1, it'll keep your cloak meter where it is, but at level 2 or 3, it'll actually refill it. This can also be a good trick for waiting out an opportunity or observing undercover,
Right.
aka discount cloak and dagger.
Yeah.
Engineers themselves rarely stand on the dispenser unless using it for leverage. Well, because of that glitch where standing on top of it gives you double metal. But watch out for
What?
enemy players standing inside it and colliding with you. Some engineers may use dispensers to block potential spies, but there are very few situations where it can't be jumped over or is another path around. Because the dispenser is the least important building to destroy, if you kill the engineer and successfully sap the rest of the nest, it may even be worth quickly disguising and using the dispenser yourself before destroying that too.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. That really, yeah, especially if you're not necessarily cloak and dagger, but especially if you're able to just like be there undisguised. I think this would be a benefit of the Invisible Watch or the cloak and dagger over something like the Dead Ringer.
Play around the dispenser right, and it can actually help you.
Okay.
Play around the sentry wrong, and it'll kill.
The fists.
When destroying a nest, the sentry is the main building you need to play around.
Right.
And while the level 3 rockets can miss, it doesn't matter because the aimbot bullets of a level 1 can kill you in 2 seconds after it starts firing, and level 2 halves that time.
Sure.
You don't want to be uncloaked and undisguised around a sentry unless it's right about to be sapped or already is.
Right.
Hello, are you having trouble maintaining your cover between
That actually got me again. It's been a few videos since he's done one of these. It's so clever. I love it.
stabs? Try the Your Eternal Reward. The stabs are almost silent and instantly disguise you as your backstab victim. It's so instant that you can stab someone in front of a sentry and it won't even turn to shoot you, giving you more options to approach a nest. Wait, what are you doing? No, don't skip, please. Don't, I'm not done. I'm not done.
When you're attacking a nest,
Amazing.
the sentry should almost always be the first building you sap. This isn't just because the sentry is dangerous, but when you sap any of the buildings, you have officially begun the encounter. The engineer immediately knows that there is a spy present, and depending on where his buildings are placed, he'll know exactly where you are at that point in time.
He is going to retaliate very angrily.
You have essentially called the engineer to that position, which is why it's best to make the sentry the first building you take out of play,
Sure.
even if temporarily. Though if one of the buildings is placed outside of the sentry's range, you can sap that first to make the engineer leave the sentry. This can either be used for a distraction, a setup for an unexpected stab, or to lure him away from his sentry to take him out. Because as we know, spy
Engineer has a shotgun. You
Yeah,
think
it
the
does.
engineer is defenseless? Foolish. Good engineers
Is that Soundsmith?
know they can fight back without having
this
to
is late.
rely on a
Who's this?
sentry. The shotgun is great at close range, but falls off somewhat at medium to long range where the pistol becomes more viable.
The revolver is sort of a hybrid between the two. And considering that both have the same
Knuckle
max
Dane,
health,
okay, thank you.
you're both kind of evenly matched.
It's just a matter of who has better movement and aim and who got the jump on the other one first. And Spy isn't the only one who can sneak up on their opponent.
You can also attempt a trick stab, but know that the engineer is capable of killing you in 2 hits with his melee, unless our least favorite mechanic in the game is in play.
Anyway, you were going to talk about teleporters now?
Yep.
So the funniest festive I've seen so far, I don't know why, this brought back the ambassador. I was looking at festives today. The festive ambassador killed me. It's got a single bulb underneath the barrel. Truly flawless.
As you can take enemy teleporters, this can be used for all kinds of tricks. Teleporters are often placed right inside the nest, so it may actually be worth finding the entrance, as you can use it to get right to the unsuspecting engineer. On top of that, players who recently used a teleporter have this team-colored glow effect, which can
Interesting.
actually help sell your disguise because it makes you look like a teammate who just
Right.
arrived and is getting their bearings, allowing you to get closer to the engineer. Also, as mentioned previously, if you get teleported inside the hitbox of an enemy player, they rupture instantly. But just randomly taking the teleporter has the chance of telefragging some random unfortunate player.
Yeah?
And if the engineer is turtling and standing on top of his teleporter the whole time... Oh yeah, and when near enemy teleporters, be careful about running over them because it might just get you killed in one of the dumbest ways possible.
Okay.
I am so stupid. I'm so stupid. I walked
That's going to happen to me so much.
over a teleporter and someone came through it.
Now that we've talked about how to play around each of the buildings, which one should you destroy first?
I really feel like this is like the de facto one, like obviously asterisk, change it to suit your situation. The priority should be sentry, teleporter, dispenser, because the dispenser can actually and I don't know. I know in Man vs. Machine you have the two-way teleporter. I don't think that's how that works in actual PvP. I think that's just a Man vs. Machine specific thing. But yeah, I think in that order, because the logic, at least to me, comes down to you want to make sure that one, you're hitting the damage dealer, right? The other two don't technically do damage. You could argue teleporter does technically do damage, by either telefragging you if you stand on it, or having, say, I don't know, anyone on their enemy team, heavy scout, etc., coming through to do damage to you. So technically, the teleporter can do damage by like tangential relation to bringing their team in, but the immediate threat is going to be that sentry. Sap the sentry, and then you branch off from there. The dispenser can give you cloak. The dispenser can heal you. If you're using Dead Ringer, I'm assuming that it probably won't refill your Dead Ringer meter, because they nerf that. So ammo pickups and stuff don't do it anymore. They used to, but not anymore. But the Dead Ringer isn't a true invis, from what I understand. So if you're playing Dead Ringer, you might want to like modify that a little bit. But yeah, taking the sentry out of the fight, because that ensures that you're actually in. Combat has been rolled, like you've rolled for initiative. Teleporter, cut off any sort of escape, and then just sit next to the sentry. Or if you're just spam sapping, just sure, go for all three. I'm ready to see what his take on this is.
The ultimate victory over a Nester's spy is to kill both the engineer and sap all the buildings.
Sure.
However, you don't always have to try to do it all at once. Even just killing the engineer or getting a key building destroyed can lead
To further problems.
The four main components that make up a nest are the engineer, sentry, dispenser, and teleporters.
Sure.
Each serving the function of maintenance, defense, supply, and transport respectively. Destroying any one of them will eliminate that component of the nest until it can be rebuilt, and can cripple the livelihood of the rest of the nest. Eliminating the engineer himself leaves the buildings without maintenance. While Pybros may be able to remove sappers if they have the Neon or Homewrecker equipped, they still lack the ability to repair damage, reload the gun, or upgrade buildings, meaning your team may quickly overwhelm the nest before the engineer returns. If multiple engineers are present, they may be able to help look after the nest. However, nests may be spread out to cover more ground, and engineers are only alerted when their own buildings start having issues.
It really feels like if you're nesting that hard, I mean, yeah, you're turtling, you're doing like the 6 stack of Torbjorn, right? But it really feels like you open yourself up to Soldier, whether Soldier's using stock. I don't know if direct hit deals more damage on buildings. I would assume it would, but I don't know the actual particulars of that one. I personally like the Beggar's Bazooka in that situation. Max 3 rockets, or you're doing your tap fire to get your 1 out. More rocket per rocket, right? Also a good demo man. I don't necessarily know if you use the Scottish Resistance to really break up a nest. Like, I don't know. I even did in pubs. I even did the odd sniper to try to get the engineer and the pyro that was sitting there. Like, nesting is a very interesting thing to deal with.
If the nests
Direct
are
hit does
clumped
work out
together into
perfect.
some abomination, then it's probably a good time to mention that spies aren't the only class that can destroy.
Hey, I'm back.
No!
Did you also know that because the YER is
You got me. You got me twice.
so quiet, it's really good at taking out multiple engineers at once, since none of them will even know before it's too late. The multiple sentries give them a false sense of security that this wonderful knife can exploit. Targeted ads are great, aren't they? Anyway, I'm done this time.
Amazing.
Nests. An uber-charged soldier or dimmer man may actually be better in this situation due to their explosives. You can either switch class or coordinate with the ubered peer to sap buildings at the same time. Of course, considering the engineer is actually sentient, you often have to be careful about when and how you attack.
Right. I think he's actually correct here. If we're talking game-like theory and meta theory, I think considering the engineer as part of that the equation is absolutely correct. So I would amend my statement personally to prioritize sentry if you can, but that's where we get into stab and sap and stab, right? That's where we get into those different lines of play. Your sentry and engineer, they're going to be interchangeable, but those should be your priority one.
Sentry is good at stopping overconfident power classes from pushing into the back line, and defends the rest of the nest. If destroyed, it leaves the rest of the nest very vulnerable to attack, as the engineer frantically attempts to rebuild it. Without the sentry, a random flanker will be able to enter their back line, your scout and pyro, will especially love you for this. If you manage to destroy the sentry, but some of the nest still remains, it's best to alert your team that this is the case so they can immediately capitalize on it and finish what you started. And yes, I know team coordination isn't that common in casual games, blah blah blah, but hey, it's worth a shot.
Yeah. At that, yes, sure, there's going to be issues with actually getting it to happen in public games and casual lobbies, right? But it is still doing best practice, right? It is still going through the motions in the proper way, which reinforces your own habits. Other people, like me, will try to pick up on those habits, but even if your team is completely clueless, at the very least, you did try. So when they say Lamau Spy, can't believe you only got like 18 kills, it's like, bro, you know how many nests I just dealt with?
The dispenser is almost always the lowest on the priority list, as it has the least immediate impact if destroyed,
Right.
and can even help you. Destroying it is still a massive inconvenience for the engineer and his team that was using it,
Sure.
but you don't see anyone going,
Dispenser down! Push in!
teleporters are vastly underestimated by new players. They can transport players to the front lines faster, or
Yeah.
get them to areas they otherwise can't reach.
Teleporters are strange to me because I thought that they were going to be limited use, or that using the teleporter consumed like resources and you had to like upkeep it. Because literally in every other game, an ability or thing like this would require upkeep, be limited use, or in some way have massive restrictions. Team Fortress 2 is such a weird game for me to get used to, and I mean that in the best way, because like, sure, we can deal with crit fall off in relation to sentries not being subject to damage fall off, but they can't be crit. Like we have that like meta game, like read the fine print RTFC understanding, right? But like, it's also just like, bro, it's just a teleporter. If you see the teleporter and it's active, just go through the teleporter. It doesn't cost anything. They don't have to upkeep it. It doesn't break the teleporter, right? It's so strange to get used to this game, and I love it. Like, I genuinely love watching like TF2 videos. I'm trying to keep it at like one a day, right? And I'm trying to make sure I'm getting some variation in there. But like, this is good information. This is good stuff.
Entrances are almost always placed at their spawn, so the exit
Yeah.
basically acts as a respawn beacon, which results in their team grouping up around that nest and providing it with a solid frontline defense. Good exit placement can almost entirely negate the travel time from the respawn room to the front line.
Yes.
And the heavy mains know exactly what I'm talking about. It can be a blessing. Which means if you take the teleporter out of play, you've effectively increased the respawn time of the entire team.
Right.
Dead players come back far slower and less from a centralized area, reducing the pressure they can put on your team and the amount of people that can guard the nest, potentially leading to it getting overwhelmed and destroyed. Sentries get kills, dispensers save lives,
And teleporters win games.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. And because both teleporters are two parts of the same whole, destroying just one end renders the other completely functionless. This makes it worth it to run to the enemy spawn just to sap and shoot the teleporter entrance, leaving the engineer with a dilemma. They either run back to spawn to repair the entrance, but leave their nest without maintenance,
Right.
or forget about the teleporter and just keep the rest of the nest maintained. Thankfully for you, there is no secret third option.
This peace sign.
Picking what part you go for first is up to you, depending on the situation. But the engineer himself has a variety of tools at his disposal that you may have to account for.
Sure. I assume that the, what is it, the Wrangler, the one that points the sentry? I feel like that's going to be a wild card.
This robot hand changes the engineer playstyle the most, replacing his sentries with mini sentries.
Right.
They deploy faster than normal sentries and cost less metal, but cannot be upgraded and are less of an overall threat.
Sure.
Mini sentries are much more disposable than regular ones, so the engineer won't care as much about maintaining it, and may not even have a nest at all. The engineer himself often becomes the bigger threat, and basically becomes a slower scout with a little more health and the ability to pop down minis.
Right. I was reading the Eureka effects earlier today when I was getting some loadouts between reactions done. Like, it really seems like an interesting weapon.
This wrench allows the engineer, from anywhere on the map, to teleport either to his spawn or teleporter exit, albeit locking him in a short animation in the process.
Sure.
This thing is the main counter to destroying the entrance at spawn strat, as the engineer can waste little time getting it replaced. They can even teleport to the exit if it's being sapped, so really watch out if you suspect they have this equipped.
That's really interesting. Also, that's good information for me as newer player and newer spy, right? That is good information because if, I sapped it, clearly, I mean, obviously, I don't know why you'd stand on it, right? But if I happen to stand on it, he can still teleport and still telefrag me. So that's good information.
Especially since they just kind of appear at the exit.
Right.
Though knowing this, if you can figure out what direction the teleporter is facing, you can trick engineers into teleporting to a backstab. Engineers running this will typically lean towards a more active and mobile playstyle, and can appear from unexpected places.
Sure.
This weapon applies an 8-second bleed on hit, which may seem good for catching spies, until you remember that cloak halves the duration of debuffs, and considering it can't random crit, it's not actually as much of a threat to spies as it may seem.
Right.
Of all the wrenches, it certainly is one of them.
It is one of the wrenches of all time.
This is the only wrench that takes 3 hits to destroy a sapper, and to kill you from full health. Though, unlike the Southern Hospitality, it can random crit, and as many of us know, crit rates on melee are kind of stupid. Engineers using this can get a level 3 building set up much faster after one is destroyed.
Oh, that's why the crits are useful.
So killing the engineer himself is the best counter to that. While it allows the engineer to take manual control of a sentry and give it a defensive shield, when put back away, it takes 3 seconds for the sentry to regain automatic functionality.
Gotcha.
Meaning if you can sneak up on an engineer using it, you can easily stab him without the sentry immediately shooting you.
I was wondering how that worked. I was wondering how the Wrangler actually functioned, because I have played Engineer at this point the least. I have played Sniper more than I have Engineer at this point. Like, it is such a learning curve, and I will have to go through an actual series. Maybe I think Uncle Dane has one. I'm going to have to go through an actual like crash course series, much like this, to understand Engineer at a more fundamental level.
And the bubble shield does nothing against the sapper. Just watch out if the engineer notices you too close to the sentry, as you may use the technique.
The technique. Short circuit seemed interesting.
Its primary fire is okay, but it's the secondary fire that creates the big annoying energy ball. Its primary use is for crowd control and to delete projectiles, but it can also reveal you while cloaked if caught in its range. But its biggest weakness is that it uses the engineer's metal supply for ammo, so it can't be spammed too heavily in most situations.
Oh. It's so we have cart heavies. Do we have cart engies for certain pushes?
This gun is notably worse in most combat situations, but when the sentry is destroyed, it gains a number of stored crits depending on how many kills or assists it got. This is very deadly. If they do currently have stored crits, you will be able to see the gun glowing, but some engineers may hide this by not pulling it out until the last second. Not to mention, the crits are gained instantly upon the sentry's destruction, which can give you a massive shock if you aren't ready for it.
Caps at 35 crits. I mean, honestly, that makes sense. It makes sense to have an upper cap. It is also lost on death. Like, you lose the stored pool.
Like the short circuit, this gun also uses metal for ammo. However, it does give back metal depending on damage dealt. If at close enough range, it can actually refund or even refill the metal used to fire.
Wild.
And it doesn't have to reload. This weapon can be very deadly if the shots connect. However, metal isn't refunded when shooting disguised spies, so make of that what you will.
Interesting. I think that's actually a good point to bring up, is that the Diamondback doesn't have stored crits, or it doesn't have a crit cap, right? I think that's really interesting to consider the parallels between Spy and Engineer, even more so, because we have the Diamondback versus the, oh god, whatever we just went over. Not the Widowmaker. Yeah, the Widowmaker. Yeah. Like, oh, that's actually really interesting.
This weapon deploys and fires quickly. However, the spread of the shots quickly increase as successive shots are fired.
Sure.
This makes it more deadly at close range, but fall off quicker than other shotguns at range.
Sure. It's not bad. It's not a bad option.
While it does have the ability to drain your cloak, this weapon overall is weak and slow, so it's rare to ever see it get used. Even more rare to get hit by it. Even if you do get hit by the easy-to-dodge projectile,
Is that an unusual? I'm noticing the knife is glowing. It's not a spy sickle. That's an effect on that knife.
the cloak drain is more of a minor inconvenience than anything.
Yeah.
Instead of being a traditional shotgun, it fires bolts that have the ability to repair buildings from range, which
Okay.
helps engineers not be glued to their buildings the whole time.
Yeah.
However, the sapper blocks repairs, and this affects the rescue ranger as well, forcing the engineer to come close and use the wrench. If they're paying attention and see you about to sap the building though, they have the ability to...
Was that a spy crab wrench?
Building though, they have the ability to use the wrench. If they're paying
No, it is not.
attention and see you about to sap the building though, they have the ability to...
Yoink!
But while this weapon is good at keeping a sentry alive, it's not so great in combat. It actually deals the same damage as the revolver with similar damage fall-off distances, but it's also a projectile that can be dodged, so 1v1 fights against rescue ranger engineers are a bit more tilted in your favor. Destroying a nest is like figuring out a puzzle. If one approach doesn't work and you die in the process, try a different strategy next time. You can die many times in the process, but it keeps the engineer under pressure, and it only takes one good attempt to dismantle the entire nest. Observe, think, and plan. Either watch for an opportunity or make it yourself. Your ability to be unexpected is your biggest asset against an engineer. But be aware that the engineer can learn and adapt from you as well.
Right.
Their team may hate you for it, but it just gives yours an opportunity to push in and finish what you started from within.
What a good video. Chock full of information. I love the fan art. I've really loved this series. I've really loved learning because I love metagame theory. Even, and this is usually what I do, right? Pokemon VGC, games like Yu-Gi-Oh, even League of Legends, right? Like I don't necessarily have the, or Smite, right? I don't even necessarily have the most experience playtime wise, but I do have a lot of metagame knowledge and a lot of like mechanical knowledge. Gotta love the spot. I love the scout. But it's really cool to actually see like the mechanical understanding and like the metagame. It feeds into the practical understanding when I actually get to it. Which after I react to this, we will actually be streaming some TF2, and I'm gonna get getting some Spy under my belt. I've been really hyped to play Spy over this series. I think that Jonto he did an amazing job with this series. I'm still boggled that this man is not a 500,000 sub channel. Like please, if you watched this, if you found him through me, if you're somehow not subbed to him and have watched his content, like please definitely go to his content, go to his channel, links in the description, and definitely give this man a sub. Like this is really good content. Thank you everyone for watching. Really do appreciate it. I'm going to go get ready for the next couple reactions, and then I'm going to hop into some TF2 later today over on the Funny Purple app, and I will see you all in the next one.